Okay, fine. We're going to start now for the next 15 minutes. Just the Hagdome, Masechet Beitza. I thought we're going to have a longer time for the Hagdome, so I prepared a little bit longer. So hopefully tomorrow we're going to have also a little bit of Hagdome. I don't want to go too much because this thing. We have over here Masechet Beitza. So the first perek and the third perek of Masechet Beitza are the Muktzeh. What is Muktzeh? What is Muktzeh? So let's speak about Muktzeh. We can speak Masechet tomorrow. We can speak why it's called Beitza or Beye or Beitza and the Seder and the Rambam. But let's speak about. I want to speak about more in general what is Muktzeh, because this is the one of the foundations, one of the yesodis of our Masechta. It's not an easy Masechta. They say for Rabbi Yosef Leibshitz, he said no. The Chacham Sofer. But Beitza is like an egg. You can cook it soft. You can cook it hard. Right? Depends how you learn it. So you can try to do a little bit of both. What is Muktzeh? So let's talk about a little bit more what is Muktzeh. So the Meiri in the beginning of the Masechta says Muktzeh means mufrash, muvdal. In English, I would think would say set aside, designated, set aside. That is Muktzeh. The Meiri says in the beginning of the Masechta, the Meiri says as Ikar Isuroi. That means the Ikar Isur of Muktzeh. Yotzolonu bechol hamuktzim echod haniko Muktzeh lemitzvosei. That means we learned us of a muktzeh lemitzvah. So that means, for example, if we talk about, we just finished Masechet Sukkah, we have what's called Noi Sukkah. Noi Sukkah is muktzeh for all 7 days. Ha'esrog of Sukkah, we also learned it, right? If you could eat it, you can't eat it, what do you do? Shmini, this, we just learned it in the Sukkah, right? Esrog of mitzvah is also muktzeh le'achile, right? And that's why the Meiri says there's so many types of muktzeh. He says, ad shektzas meforshim monum. They counted it. There's 50 types of muktzeh, he says. That means in the pirte potim, almost 50. And mashma from the Meiri that they feed them, Isur muktzeh is not because missing the lack of hachoneh, as we can see in the Gemara. Pashas muktzeh is a lack of hachoneh, or because you cannot use it on Shabbos. Just it's a set aside. Once you are mafrishet, you are meyached it, you are designated it, it's chal on this thing, a name of muktzeh. And the same like it's chal muktzeh lemitzvasoi, something that you actually set aside to a mitzvah. And that's why we know that what? Ein muktzeh lechati Shabbos, right? As we can see in Mitzvah Hashem, our sugya, very interesting sugya of ein muktzeh lechati Shabbos, and daf chovov amid beis. We can see, for example, Rashi in daf lamed amid beis, by us and Beitza, Rashi says that the esrig was hufrash right? When he eats it, only the next day, because migo is katzoy le benashwan is katzoy le kula yoim. Okay, but let's not go into too much a thing. But that's basically the thing. The Nadabiude, Afikayam, and beginning what we depend on it. So what is muktzeh? So Isur muktzeh is very general to many takonas what Chazal did in Shabbos and Yom Tov. And Isur muktzeh is including many things. It's including the Isur, the kind to carry things that's chal on it, Shem muktzeh. Shem muktzeh, anything that's chal on the Shem muktzeh, you're not allowed to carry. So let's a second stop in this Isur and think about it. Why is Isur? So let's start with the Rambam. The Rambam in Ilchoi Shabbos, Perek Chof Daled, Halacha Yud Beis and Halacha Yud Gimel. Says the Rambam 3 different reasons why there's an Isur of carrying muktzeh. First of all, says the Rambam, the first reason is Chachamim learned what steht in Nevi'im, steht in Yeshaya, right? Dibur shel Shabbos lo yehi kedibur shel daber dovo shelo yehi dibur shel Shabbos kedibur shel choy. Vehilucho shel Shabbos lo yehi kehilucho shel choy. That means you have to behave. Shabbos is different. Says the Rambam, if you're not allowed to speak on Shabbos like you speak on the weekday, you're not allowed to come to walk on Shabbos like you walk on the weekday. So for sure, says the Rambam, you're not allowed to carry on Shabbos like you carry on the weekday. And he says, Kedei shelo yehi yoyim choil be'inov ve'yovoy le'agbiya u'lefanos chapotzi. So the Rambam comes and says, because he's going to come and start to carry and do, and this is a weekday. Basically, he's turning it into a weekday. If you're going to allow him to come and to carry muktzeh, it's going to turn into a weekday. That means to come into, say, Shabbos and Yom Tov and a weekday, to come to know the difference between them, we say don't carry on Shabbos and muktzeh. And the muktzeh, beikar muktzeh is tiltul muktzeh. That's one reason, says the Rambam. The second reason what the Rambam says is, there's a chashash. Maybe when a person will come and he's going to look into his kelim, right? It's no muktzah, so he's going to look into his kelim, as the chafotzim, and he's going to carry them that what? He also kelim that melachto leiso, right? And once you take a klisha melachto leiso, right? That's one of the things of a muktzah, right? Klisha melachto leiso, you take over the candle or whatever it is, yeah, klisha, we're going to see in the Masechet, klisha melachto leiso. And once you start to carry klisha melachto leiso, you might also start to use it. And that's why Chachamim made a gzeira over there. Don't start to carry klisha melachto leiso. And that's why it's like the Rambam. So it's a gzeira only for klisha melachto leiso. Then we're going to have to understand what is like the second reason of the Rambam. The third reason of the Rambam, he says, because yesh miktas minom bali umnios. He says there's people that they're bali umnios. And just what? But there is some people, he says, there's a small amount that they are not bali umnios. Just what? Betailing kol yameim. He says the Rambam, if you're allowed to come and to walk and to speak and to carry on Shabbos like the rest of the week, kumto is that this person lo yishovas shvisa hanikeres. This person didn't do anything on the Shabbos. He's like every weekday. Or he didn't go to work. He never goes to work. What he did different this Shabbos. But these people that don't work, that they gonna come and for them Shabbos is gonna be like a weekday. We have to see a difference between Shabbos and a weekday. Says the Rambam, these people they came and they made a gzeira of muktzeh and that the word it shouldn't come and they shouldn't carry muktzeh. The Ravid in the Asogas over there comes and says and he proves it that they made the gzeira on tiltul. Right? From what? From the Isur Hoitzoy. So that's the three reasons of the Rambam, very, very famous and Yadua of the Rambam. The Ravid disagrees. The Rambam says no. The Ravid says no. The reason why they did the Gzeira on carrying Mukta is it's a branch or it's like a siag or gather for the Isur Hoitzoy. The Isur Hoitzoy. And actually, if we remember from the Gemara in Shabbos, not so long ago, we learned that, right? The Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Chof Daled with base, right? And also we can see Merz Hashem and Masechet Beitza Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. That's what the gather of Mukta is because to carry. Because once you start to carry from one side to the other side, Mukta, you might carry it also from Reshus HaYochid, the Reshus or Rabim, and that's why we came and made over there Gzeira. Zog the Gemara, sorry, let's see weiter. Let's see weiter. So another reason, what about in the Isur Mukta, what is including? It's including also the Isur of using, even without with metaltal. So now we spoke about metaltal, carrying it. You're not allowed to use Cheftzei Muktzeh. Cheftzei Muktzeh you're not allowed to use. What's the reason? So there's a Rashba in Shabbos. Rashba in Shabbos daf Chof Tes Omed Aleph. Rashba says that they didn't aser Muktzeh elo letaltaloi. As I said the Rashba. The Rashba says the Muktzeh is also what's also Muktzeh or letaltaloi or leochloi. Ober Hanoya bo mimele says the Rashba Shapir Dome. Hanoya that comes mimele you're allowed to come and to have a noy. That means let's explain the Rashba. The Rashba comes in Shabbos Chof Tes Amud Aleph. The Rashba gives us a big yesod in Muktzeh. A big yesod in Muktzeh. Now what? There's two isurim in Muktzeh. First of all, the isur of tiltul. Second of all, using the Muktzeh itself. For example, of achila. And they are very, very different. As we find that you're allowed to come and to carry Muktzeh, let's say, Oichel Nefesh. Right? You can see it in Merz Hashem and Toyses, Beitza, Daf Ches Amud Aleph. Toyses also in Chof Ches Amud Beis. There's many times in Masechet Beitza we can see that you're allowed to carry Muktzeh, let's say, Oichel Nefesh. And achile, you ask to eat. On Yom Tov. Yeah, on Yom Tov. For example, they ask to eat a Beitza, not the Yom Tov. That's the first sugya. We're going to see tomorrow. Why? Muktzeh. And also, they ask to use Be'odayim. For example, the Gemara says, Lismich Gdeiro Bepkas. Right? The Gemara later on in Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, also Lismich Gdeiro Bepkas. That means you have a Bekas over there that's Muktzeh. It means a log that's burning, and you want to come in to support your pot. Right? What's the Isur? So the Maharsha over there explains that the Isur is because it was not Hutar le'achile. Right? The Achila was not Hutar, and the using Muktzeh, let's say Oichel Nefesh, is only by coming and tiltul. That's it. What's the chiluk between them? So Shmuel Rozovsky wants to bring a chiluk. In the Sefer Zichor Shmuel, the beginning of Siman Chof Dalet, Shmuel Rozovsky does a very interesting chiluk. He says, tiltul, what we call tiltul muktzeh, The gather of the definition of tiltul muktzeh is like a melocha. It's like a melocha. A melocha you're allowed to do. Let's talk about Yom Tov. Yes, Rabbani mentioned. So tiltul muktzeh you're allowed to do. Let's say nefesh. But using right isur on a chayfetz, right? Ishtamshus. What's a ishtamshus? Using it. That's already different. It's a isur on the chayfetz, and that you're not allowed to also let's say nefesh. As I said, again, he brings the svara, but he's doing the svara, and he says already that this svara already we find many achronim who speak about it. The Shulchan Aruch Haram Tov Kuftes, the Magen Avraham Tov Kuftes, the Zvav, the Rabbi Akiva Eiger and Shuvasen in Simen Hey. What about using it without tiltul? If we say that muktzah is the equal of tiltul, I'm going to say very simple. I'm going to use the kli without tiltul. So Magen Avraham, Simen Shin Ches, Sivkot Memalef, Zog the Magen Avraham, that you're allowed to on Shabbos, right? You're allowed to come and sit on a stone, on a rock, on the Shabbos, if it's big enough and it's heavy enough, that's not going to move. The Shulchan Aruch Haram, in Kutras Achroin, Shulchan Aruch Haram, he comes and he proves from the Rashba that you're not allowed to come and do it only when the Masechet is in the when is the Isur? The Isur is only when the Masechet is doing the Gufa Chayfetz, but not by coming in, sitting on it. By sitting on it, you're not doing a Masechet Gufa Chayfetz. That's what he says. But again, there's a big questions on it because on the Magen Avraham, Rabbi Akiva Eiger fragt the Shaila Magen Avraham. Rabbi Akiva Eiger Shichofei. Why? He says the Rashba says that you're not allowed to come and to lean on the muktzeh kare amito. Right? That means a person has over there a bed, and one of the legs of the bed broke. So he wants to put over there muktzeh and to lean the kare amito, to lean the bed, that it should be straight, because he doesn't want to sleep. He wants to put over there something to support it. How is he going to support it? With muktzeh. He's allowed or not? Says the Rashba, as I break the Rashba. Rabbi Akiva Eiger brings the Rashba. It says the Rabbi Akiva Eiger, what's the difference between actually you sitting on a stone or taking the rock, the muktzeh, and supporting the bed? What's the difference?
Because you're creating a keli. It's a different type. It's not
What's
passive.
You're
creating
something. If it's not moving, you're allowed to. It's a muktzeh. Over here, you're taking the same thing and putting in the kare amito.
You make a meat out of it.
It's not the same. One is because the rock is something you aren't changing the rock. The rock is sitting there. The rock is there already. In the case of a bed, you're taking something, you're putting it there, you're making it into something which you're going to sit on. Whereas the rock was there already without doing anything to it. But the bed, you've actually taken something and put it onto it.
So, basically what you're saying, the rock stays a rock.
Yeah. What
here becomes regular mito.
Yeah, that's what it's same thing, yeah.
So you're all saying very good. And this is BMS, a few mahalchim, what we see in the Achronim, in the Rashba. That what we say muktzah is only when he actually, what means muktzah? He set it aside, he took it out of his mind, he's not going to use it. But sitting on a stone, that's not hiktzah midaitoi. He says, for example, a Beitza shenol de yontev, you're not allowed to come into, that's what the Rashba speaks about, yeah? You're not allowed to come to be soymech on a Beitza. Why? Because it was noilad. I never had in mind that it's going to be over here. That's why shayach muktzeh machmas gufoi more than a stone. The Kedishankev also, the Kedishankev over here in Beitza and Simen Daled, he also has a bigger soul. He said that the Rashba is only in muktzeh that's machmas chisorn hachone. For example, noilad, or something that's dochu b'yodayin. I'm definitely not going to use it. Right? Lefi Rab Shimon, you can see in the Gemara, right? Shemen shebener, tarnegoiles, ubeitzos, all of these things we can see in the beginning of the Masechet. But muktzeh of eitzim avonim, the Rashba is giving more that you're allowed to come and use it because there's no chisoron of achona because the person has in mind that he's going to use it, and the only issue is only because it doesn't have a shem kli. Okay, let's continue on another thing. Another issue what's koilet in muktzeh, the issue to come and to eat ma'acholei muktzeh. What means eating ma'acholei muktzeh? Issue of eating muktzeh is another branch of using be'etzem muktzeh. And as I talk the Masechet in Beitza, Daf Lamed Gimel, Kamen says that eating muktzeh is another branch of using muktzeh. Now says mashma the Balamor and Shabbos Kuf Nun Daled on base that he said that there's he says over there ein kli nital letzoyrech dover she'eino nital b'Shabbos. For example, kemuktzeh le'achila. That means you're not allowed to use it. Yeah, and the Drush v'chidush Rabbi Kiva at the beginning of Masechet speaks out the Balamor. Aber in the Shulchan Aruch Rav Daf Kuf Tes and the Beis Meir and Shin Yud Ches, they say that the whole Isur using muktzeh is only when he does the maise in the chayfet itself, the gufa chayfet. For example, when I'm lighting it. And that's why in Shabbos I allowed to sit on it. Allowed to sit on it. Now, if we talk about a little bit, we're going to have to finish already, but if we talk about a little bit, le'alocha. The Mishtabure, Tov Kuf Aleph, Sikot Nuchov Gimel, and also in the Biur Alocha, Tov Kuf Zayin, the Sharatziyun, Tov Kuf Aleph, Sikot Lamed Aleph, explains Azoy. What's the pshat? What's the pshat in the Beis Meir and Shulchan Aruch Rav? He explains that the pshat is Azoy. When he does in the item, in this chayf, it's a maiseh beyodayim, it's considered kehilu is actually carrying it. Kehilu is metaltelet. And look over there in the Biur Alocha, he's medagdik from the Mogen Avraham and the Lior Rabbe. But the Beis Halevi steht a bissel anders. Beis Halevi says using muktzeh by a maiseh begufoi, that is considered tiltul. Why? Because he's doing over there tiltul letzoyrech the muktzeh. Even though le'aloche, as we said, kli nita letzoyrech dover she'eino nita. That's dafke when dafke a kli. But when it's not a kli, it's going to be also. Why? Because you are busy with the muktzeh that became awesome, and you're not not what's coming out of it, and basically like the Mogen Avraham. Okay, we're gonna. There's a tzlach over the someach over here, but I want just another small thing before we're gonna finish the day. There's two main takonas in the Inyan of muktzeh. Just let's speak out the two main takonas in the Inyan of muktzeh. The first one is takonas hachomim, a very early takonas hachomim that probably was already from the times of David and Shlomo, not to carry certain items on Shabbos. Why? As we said before, the Fide Raived, because they should not come and be moitzim Rishus L'Rishus. Now, the Ikar Isur in this takona was on dafke things that are not basically prepared for Shabbos. They are not over there, right, coming to use on Shabbos. Polshkin, you have over there all kinds of chapotim that are not roi bechlal for use, for sure that you're not allowed to carry it. And bechlal them, you have tzroi roi shel avonim, all of these things that you cannot come and use, and they have a din of muktzah because they are not especially for use. That was the first takona. The second takona was the takona sachomim in the times of Nehemiah. Nehemiah ben Chachalio, the times of Ezra. They made the gzeira not to carry afilu kelim. Why? Because that generation was forwards and Isurei Shabbos. People didn't know, and people came and did all kinds of Isurei Shabbos. They did make a chomem kar on Shabbos. They did all kinds of things on Shabbos that they shouldn't have done. And in order to come and to do a siag, a geder, ligder pirtzoiseyem, they were machmir on them, right? I mean, akotze lakotze. The Rambam says if you want to come to the tshuva, if you have a problem, you go in akotze lakotze, and then you come to the derech hamemutza. And that's why they came. They were machmir on them many chumras. And as the time went on, they were makel and makel in certain things. They were makel in certain kelim. And this, so the beginning, the takonim, the times of Nehemiah was actually they asad everything. Even to use cutlery, they couldn't use. Slowly, yeah, cutlery did, but the Choyma Takone was coming, they were a bit more lenient with them, a little bit more lenient by the Chachomim, but the Gzeire on the Klisha, Melachton Isur, not to carry it, only, let's say, Gufoy, or Mekoimoy, does blind. This Isur always stayed in. So, the Gemara in Psochim, in Daf Mem Zayin, Amud Bey. Say Minatoira. Where from? Steht over there, Veichinu es asher yoviu. Says Rashi, right? Rashi also in Masechet Beitza, Daf Beis Amud Beis, as we can see, Dima Masechet Veichinu, Rashi in Daf Daled Amud Dalef, and Dima Masechet Lachone. Rashi comes and says that that's the maskone. The Isur Muktzeh is min hatoire. We learned that from Veichinu, min hatoire. Rashi also actually adds on it. Rashi later on in Daf Chovav Amud Dalef, Chovav Amud Beis, says Rashi, man beles lei muktzeh, achonim boed yoim boed dechsi veichinu. Rashi mamish learns it at Doiraisa. The Ritva. The Ritva, and let's be mekasher, Sukkot Beitza. The Ritva in Sukkot that mevarim at base. Says the Ritva that Rabbi Yude learned the Aser Muktzeh, Migudis Katzoy. Why? Because it says, Veichinu. Again, he learned the Deiraisa. The Achroinim, the Chasam Sofer, the Hagdomet, the Ma'aduret in Yoneh, the Kehilas Yaakov. The Kehilas Yaakov is not the stipler. Kehilas Yaakov is the Nesivas. The Nesivas has over there on Yom Tov and Hilchos Yom Tov, he has over there a sefer it's called Kehilas Yaakov, the Nesivas of Yaakov Loberbom, Chavas Das. And over there in Hilchos Yom Tov and Tov Tzadik Ches, the Afikayam, they say that Azoy, the Chisoron Havachone, that's Minatoire, is only legabe, used and eating. But carrying, what we call tiltul, is only a Gzeira de Rabbanon because Chashash Hoitzoy. That's what they explain over there. So in the Muktzeh, we have two definitions. It could be it's Doirais, as Rashi says, but that's only things that actually we need to use and we need to eat. So that if you're missing a chone, that's Muktzeh. Beitza shenol Rabbi Yom Tov. It's missing a chone. I didn't prepare the Rabbi Yom Tov. There was Muktzeh Midaita. It was not in my mind before. I didn't know it's going to be born. Or to use something. I didn't think I'm going to have to use it. But stam carrying Muktzeh? No problem. It's only Gzeira de Rabbanon because you might come, as we said in the Ravid, you might come and take it out. As I state in the Achronim, and as I is before already in the Shittim Kubetzes in the beginning of our Masechet. The Ramban in Milchames, again, beginning of our Masechet Beitza, is mashma that also the issue of Tiltul, Asmechu Rabbanon Akro, of Veichinu, that we have we are commanded to prepare all of the things what we need for Shabbos, that we should not need tomorrow to come and be busy with Tzorchei Shabbos, right, and to be Terech Besuda, because maybe he's going to come to do a meloche or to carry things that are awesome. But this all machloikas is only legabe the Yisur Muktzeh, that this is a Gzeira that was before the Gzeira of Nehemiah. That means the Gzeira of, as we said, the Bais Rishon. But the Gzeira what Nehemiah added in the times of Bais Sheni to ask also Kelim in coming, all kinds of Kelim, not to come to carry, as Gemara Shabbos Buchov Gimel. At the beginning, he came and said also Klisha Malachto Leheter. Don't carry anything, even Klisha Malachto Leheter. Don't carry, even let's say Gufoi. Why? As we said, because that day was poet, and they didn't. And you had to come to be a little bit more strict with them. And the Shulchan Aruch Rav and Shilches proves that the Gzeira of Tiltul Muktzeh that was earlier than the Nehemiah is from what they asked to come and carry David HaMelech. David HaMelech dies. We learned the Gemara in Shabbos, right? David HaMelech comes and says, Eida ma chodel oni. He wants to know what day he's going to die in the year. Because Yahud doesn't know, I don't tell you. And then he dies when? On Shabbos. Shabbos he dies. Shlomo HaMelech sends to the Sanhedrin, Abu Meis, Mut al Bachamo, Klovim shel Yisabo Re'evim. What should I do? What's the Shaila? What's the Shaila about Abu Meis? He died in the garden, right? He went out to see what's the noise over there. He died in the garden. He wants to know, can I carry him back into the house by the shade? He doesn't want to keep him outside in the sun. So, 1 second. What's the problem, a mess? A mess is Muktzeh. A mess is Muktzeh. So says the Shulchan Aruch Rav, so the Gzeras Tiltul, right, that's the Gzeras Tiltul, a mess, is actually before the times of Nehemiah, because you see that you're not allowed to come and to carry David HaMelech and when he was died. But many Achronim are coming in the Deicha Deraya, Lefi the Chasam Sofer. The Chasam Sofer says in Chidushim, the Shulchan Aruch, and Shin Yud Aleph, the Chasam Sofer says that they asked to carry him because they wanted to move him from Reshus to Reshus, and not because the Isur Muktzeh, because it's not yet the Isur of Muktzeh at that time, and that's what they wanted to come. Okay, we're going to stop over here. We're going to stop over here the Akdome. And Hashem, tomorrow we're going to continue the Akdome with the Machloikis, Rabbi Yehuda and Rav Shimon and Muktzeh. Biggest side is the Machloikis. We have to understand this. And the Akdome Klolis to Masechet Beitza. And Hashem, we hope to start tomorrow Masechet Beitza. Probably we'll start tomorrow Masechet Beitza. So don't forget to bring a Masechet Beitza tomorrow. Tomorrow we're on the daf. So no. Right, I go to Shkoyach.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good night.
Have a good day.
I can't.